Joining us now is Suzanne Craig, New York Times investigative reporter. Suzanne, thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like this is the culmination of so much work you set in motion. So let me just first ask, what stood out to you from this? It's a monster lawsuit
Yeah,
here.
I mean, I've got it here. I mean,
and there's so many egregious examples.
I think just the volume and the specificity, page after page after page. And what I found compelling as somebody, as a reporter, we usually, a lot of stories take different components to piece it together. Sometimes you have one. In the case of 2020, we had a huge volume of his tax returns, 20 some years. In other stories, we have a lot of component pieces. And in 2018, we were able to show, because we had bank statements and we had financial statements, we were able to show a fraud. And that's what they've got here. They have got statements, they have got interviews from people, emails across a huge, just a number of entities, from the accountants to bankers. And that's when I was reading it, I was just page after page of different.
It's full color. It's full spectrum.
Yeah.
Is there a property that struck you as the most egregious in terms of asset inflation, in terms of fraudulence?
I don't know. There was two different questions. So the asset inflation, it was striking to see just the percentages. Some of them were over 1,000. Jupiter was one where they were inflating that asset by just huge amounts. It's like
he bought it, I think, in $5 million. The Jupiter Golf Club, $5 million in cash. Less than a year later, Trump values the same property at $62 million.
Right. I mean, those sort of numbers. When you're doing appraisals, and I've learned this just over the years, having covered Trump's findings, there's sort of a language among the people who do appraisals. You phone them and you say, I'm going to make a charitable donation. You don't need to say go high. The appraiser kind of knows that. Yeah. I'm going to value something for an estate. And that's code for go low, because you don't want to pay the taxes on that. So there's an understanding, and I think there's some leeway in what you can do. But some of this stuff's just off the charts.
1,100% is not normal. No. Do you feel, so when we're talking about this lawsuit, it is centrally about Donald Trump. But what makes this different and perhaps more damning for Trump writ large is that it also implicates his children.
That's right.
Right? We're talking about generational fraud.
Yeah.
He is naming Ivanka. He is naming Eric. He is naming Donald Trump Jr. And for Donald Trump, that seems meaningful. Now, Bill Barr earlier today was suggesting that, quote, dragging the children into this was an unsavory thing for the Attorney General to do. But from what you've read, does it sound like they played meaningful roles in all of this?
Well, I'm going to say two things, and I want to take you to an example.
Please.
Because I think they're powerful. But the Trump Organization is not, Fortune 500 company where there's thousands of people. There are a small group of people, and Donald Trump has, by his decision to whittle it down to the top executives are largely his children. He's made that decision. So there's a small group, and the children are very involved. One of the examples that stood out to me today was the appraisal and what happened at Seven Springs. And Seven Springs is this estate. It's in New York. Donald Trump bought it for a few $1 million in 1995, and then turned around and later, the number I've got here for, he later puts a $250 million valuation on it. Well, Seven Springs is important, and for a couple of reasons. First of all, Eric Trump is very involved in it. He has at times lived there. He proposed to his now wife there. He has a very sentimental attachment to it. But this is a project, Donald Trump bought it with, I think just grand ambitions for it. He wanted to put a golf course on it. He wanted to put some mansions on it. And boy, did he hear from the neighboring community, very wealthy, 4 or 5 different municipalities who just screamed, bloody murder on it. And then separately, there was lawsuits from the Nature Conservancy. So they then went and they decided that they would make it was a charitable contribution. They would donate some of the land in order to get a charitable contribution, which is great for your taxes. And in here it says, and they point out that Eric Trump was very involved and that he knew that the projections that they had and that they were giving to appraisers were not feasible. And then secondly, it says here they failed to inform the appraisers of the restrictions. They pushed the appraisers to do other things. They falsely informed the appraisers about other things. Like, this is like, I'm just reading this list.
They be implying
the Trump organization.
the Trump organization, including Eric Trump.
Right. And then it says that the Cushman appraisal that resulted because of what the Attorney General is saying as these false misrepresentations, that the appraisal that came out of it materially overstated the value of the Seven Springs property by tens of millions of dollars. And then you turn the page and guess what? They submitted to the IRS as part of this something that reduced Mr. Trump's tax liability by $3.5 million. He was able to reduce his taxable income by that much because of what the Attorney General is saying. There's a lot of false information that was given to the appraisers led by Eric Trump.
And also the IRS has mentioned this case has been referred to them. It's hard to imagine that they don't see an interest in following.
And I can't imagine it's not been on their radar. We've written about it. Other people have written about it. But the granular, like the details in here, we knew about it, but to read sort of point by point.
It's almost a forensic kind of examination of what's going on.